boy, we've alluded to so many times before, the smaller houses in and about the area we visited this year, and Glenmore, one of them. Lovely place. Alan Runkel starts the day off with a pretty good-looking shot.
He has been throwing a lot of good-looking shots the last couple of months, Tommy, and we saw there he didn't want to waste any time. Starting our telecast out here today at Glenmore Bowl, lanes 5 and 6. A very high scoring pair down through the years, and I don't think it's going to be any exception today.
We had a high score in the roll-off. Kerry Logan lost to Alan Runkel 258 to 246, and they both had the first 6 in a row. So let's look to give away a car today. It won't be Alan Runkel in the first match. Well, however, here comes Ron Bohnert. I'm sure he's ready to strike.
Yeah, Ron has been on our telecast many times. So far this year, he's qualified, well, I guess a couple of times, 3 times total this year. And he's not yet been our king, but going to give it a whirl today. And boom, that's the way you started out.
He does have one kingship, however, and that was back in 1985. He's been qualifying 3 years. And he's a competitor. He's shown that throughout the last couple years. He really is a good competitor.
Certainly is. He had a nice game last week, but came up just a little bit short against Lenny Ramsey.
We have a special lady with us today, Shirley Heidenreich. We'll see if we can't find her somewhere along the telecast. She's the president of WIBC. Beautiful.
Back-to-back strikes out of the gate for Ron Bohnert.
That's a powerful striking ball I was telling you about in the opening, and we're going to look at it right here. Actually gets the ball too wide, but the tremendous power in the release. Look at that ball. I don't know about the 5th board at 45 feet. Head pin going to the right-hand wall. Whirlybird into the 5. Out of there for a double. Alan Runkel. Right lane. Needs to keep filling the pocket up, and he's going to be close, but not that way. A totally errant shot for Alan Runkel, leaving a very difficult spare. The 3, 5, 6, 9, 10. Difficult, Tommy, because there's just a myriad of ways to chop this particular spare.
How difficult is it?
Very.
Yeah, I'd say probably
50-50
for the, well, for a bowler of Alan's caliber, probably about 70-30, maybe 50-50 on a bad day.
Well,
beautiful. Nice
50,
cover.
The first half of that 50 or the first half of that 70.
We'll call that 100%. How's that?
We're 1 for 1 today, so we will indeed call it that. Alan Runkel. He was with us as well earlier in this year. You may remember that face.
He was over at Super Bowl, I believe.
Certainly was.
Was on the receiving end of a 299.
Mm-hmm. From Rodrigo Calpus. That's a little tough to beat. Going to try to regroup here. Frame 3, but just a little bit offline.
Varying his speed just the wee bit there, Tommy, and that's the one thing that Alan, if there's a weak spot in Alan's game, it's the fact that he doesn't have the exact same speed on each and every shot. The rest of his game is textbook. Good knee bend, good extension through the shot, good rotation around the ball with the release, but the speed, just one factor he's got to work on.
Looking to pick up that spare, and he does. 3 spares in the first 3 for Alan Runkel. And his opponent, Ron Bohnert, has been perfect through 2.
Our golden ball today is up to $1,200. In the case it should not be broken, all of those names will go into a hopper. The home viewers and the people here rolling the ball, and then the one that wins will get the whole bit, $1,200. Nice shot.
Ron Bohnert has come out of the box, and he has issued a challenge to Alan Runkel. He says, I don't care about your 300s yesterday, and I really don't care what Newrath said about you. You're mine. And he's going out, and he's doing something about it. The first 3 crushers. The powerful strike ball is doing him well. Throwing a red hammer today. It looks highly polished, which means it'll go down the lane a little bit further. And with his speed that he's throwing, the ball goes very, very long before it goes into roll time.
How often, David, does a player who bowls pretty often, how often do they need to get that ball polished up?
Well, it all depends. About every 15 to 20 games, if you're going to go for a ball that wants to go further down the lane. Let's watch this errant shot on the replay. We heard him yell hold. The last ball he struck on was on about 5 halfway down the lane. That ball started hooking early, cuts right straight through the heart of the pins, leaving the 2-4. Again, choppable, but for a bowler of Ron's caliber, it should be no problem.
That is his first miss through the first 4 frames. Yes, you see him kind of reach for his heart there, like, whoa.
Actually, it was a pretty good cover.
Ball didn't hook
He's saying
off.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
So Alan Runkel now has a chance to possibly jump right back in this one. He is spared in frames 1, 2, and 3. As we mentioned, Bohnert, his first miss, and Runkel now looking for the strike. Looks on target. He's
Light
off.
again.
Thought it was coming back on him a little bit further, but it didn't. Light on the right lane, the same lane that he came up short before, Tommy. This time leaving the 3, 5, 6, a combination of the spare we watched last time, and he converted it so well. Let's predict that he's going to bring this one back also.
Well, I notice you're marking that on your score sheet, so look for the new Rath factor for the second time today in regards to Alan.
Well, he was perfect yesterday. I was fortunate enough to bowl on a team that moved into first place scratch in the city division over at Super Bowl yesterday, and Alan Runkel featured a 300 in that game, but he's not having a 300 this game, as you can see by the score sheet. Alan Runkel 50 in the 3rd frame to Ron Bohnert 78. That's 28 pins, both players with a spare working, and there's a lot of paper left.
And again, David, he misses a tad light.
The identical combination that we saw before on the right lane. Again, he comes up. Let's see if we can pick up what he's doing on this ball. Just not getting into the roll that I'm used to seeing Alan. The ball is still skidding at about 40 feet, and by that time it should be going into the roll. That's the head pin going to the wall, or the channel, and dying there.
Not only that, but he's getting killed on his count. A bad count.
Good point, Jennifer. The count.
Oh,
And if
there's
you
the
leave,
chop.
you leave those multi-pin spares long enough, and you are really going to pay the price on the spares. We told you can chop it. This is how you chop it. He is going to take the 3-pin straight back, leaving the 5. You should cover it with the ball, and watch it here. It's going to cut straight through. The pin in the middle of your screen is the 5-pin. And it very well may be the undoing of Alan Runkel in game 1 here at Glenmore.
It's our first open frame of the day here at Bohnert. And wow, boy, you talked about the power.
A scout. You wanted to see a scout? Let's check it out. This scout has fire in its eyes coming off the right wall. The end of the replay will show us that the head pin, center of your screen right there, is going to go back. That's the 3-pin going to the wall. The 3-pin says, yeah.
That scout's got a lot of badges, I always say. Some
right.
serious badges.
He really did a number on it, that's for sure.
Ron Bohnert.
Looking
4
good.
out of 5, no doubt about that. Making
Another one.
5 out of 6.
I see some fire in his eyes, too. Look at him.
Yeah, you can say that. The boy wants to win, no doubt about it, even though it's the last week. And our king today will not have the right to come back next week, because next week's going to be our finals. But again, it's a $750 check, and you get to scribble on your sheet that you are, in fact, the king of bowling.
Yes, sir.
Right
Alan
again.
Runkel, whether it be lane 5 or lane 6, he is still coming up light.
Totally lost. At this point, I'm very, very surprised that he has not made a ball change to a ball that's going to give him a little more hook. But Alan's been bowling so well with that one ball. Jen, and I'll direct this to you. How tough is it for you to put down your favorite ball that you've been scoring well with when you go to a different condition? Do you make a change quickly, or do you kind of...
I'd linger.
Yeah.
Too long, yeah. And when you got your opponent striking as he is, yeah, I'd say I'd go at least 4 frames.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of time I'll blame it on myself, too, as opposed to the equipment.
Yesterday...
But I went through every ball I had at this house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kept on switching back and forth. And
couldn't find...
I didn't do too well, no.
Yesterday, Kerry Logan, another member of the team that Tri-State Bowling Supply, and Kerry Logan, it was Kim Herman, myself, Lenny Ramsey, and Alan Runkel.
Ouch, what a team.
I don't know how I got in there. 4 lefties and me, right? But Kerry had a terrible game his first game, shot 150-something, made an equipment change, came back 240, 240. I mean, Equipment is the key to this modern game, and if you don't know what to go to, you just can't handle it. And Alan Runkel, you can see in the 6th frame, can't handle this match. It is out of control, completely in control of Ron Bohnert, featuring 98 in the 4th with a double working in the 5th and 6th. And look at this one.
Ow.
Stone 9. No joking, man. Stone 9. We're going to watch it here. The ball is going to deflect ever so slightly to the left after it hits the 1-2. Look at his eyes. He knows it's a killer shot. Actually hooks behind the pin after it goes into the pit.
Boy, normally you're going to see all 10 get mowed down on a shot like that.
Should have been all 10 on that one, Tommy. You're absolutely right. But he's well in control of this match, but it's not over yet, Alan. Alan Runkel has a strike working in the 7th frame.
He's got 214 if he goes out.
If he goes out is absolutely right. And Mr. Ron Bohnert can, if he falls upon hard times, have some problems. But he's been flushing the pocket so well that I don't anticipate any.
Tom Schiller has just arrived from West Hills Ford, running a tad late today, are you, Thomas? Okay. He has just informed us he brought out a Mustang GT2.
Oh, those are neat cars.
Oh, they sure are. That is a $15,700 car. We're not going to give it away this game, but the way Ron Bohnert is going right now, don't be too surprised if he makes a run for that in the next one.
We watched a replay where he leaves the Stone 9, comes right back with an absolutely perfect shot. He's been flush in the pocket there. You see it. 10 pins in the pit, every pin doing its job. We move along to Alan Runkel in the 8th frame, lane 6. Glenmore Bowl, he needs nothing but strikes, and even that might not be enough.
All right, got some help. You see him, he's just kind of, well, what can you do? Just one of those days. And how frustrating is that, Dave, for a bowler that rolled so well just, well, probably less than 24 hours ago, and then to come here on the telecast and obviously not have the kind of game you'd like to?
It is very frustrating because in the week before he bowled very well in this same establishment, scored well, bowled well, did so yesterday, but the human factor, Tommy, we're all human beings, and the machine does not function identically each and every time.
It looks like he's finally found that line, but it could be just a tad too late.
He needs help from Ron Bohnert, which, who knows? We certainly have seen some strange endings this year,
No
so
kidding.
we can't count anything.
Watch the ending of this strike. There you go. A perfect shot. One more time, the ball deflecting just ever so slightly. There you see the sheet. If Alan Runkel takes it off the sheet, he's got 214, as Jennifer mentioned. Ron Bohnert would have to open here for any prayer, and he ain't gonna do it.
No.
The party is over for Alan Runkel today, but don't go away. The finals are coming up, and he's a pretty strong pick, I'd say.
Might want to explain to the folks at home, Dave, exactly how we determine the competitors for our final kingship.
Every contestant that you've seen on TV and that has participated in the pre-telecast roll-off will compete next Saturday at Strikes and Spares lanes in Blue Ash. And the top 4 scores will advance to the telecast on Sunday. And then we get to talk about them a little bit. Yeah, that's right.
All right. If I remember correctly, last year our champion was Alan Downs.
Yes.
And we have not heard, well, as a matter of fact, we haven't had Alan on the telecast one time this year.
So many good players have missed the telecast this year, Tommy, and it's been a unique year in a lot of ways.
Such as Dave Newran.
That's right. Again.
I was hoping to sit in your chair, Dave, too.
Well, never mind.
Okay.
I
Don't touch it.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't get it together, and Terry Ciccone, a player that used to make the show 3 or 4 times every year, has been dramatically scarce, and we can go on and on.
You're eligible for the finals, are you not, Dave?
I don't know. I got to read the fine print.
I think you are.
I was the high qualifier in the pre-king at Crossgate Lane, 740 something. No, 760 something. Excuse me. But yeah, I forgot. It's been so long ago, right? But I got to check the fine print on the sheet. I hope you're right, Jim.
Yeah,
I'd love to bowl.
Well,
And of
Bohnert-
course, the Queen will be worked the same way. There's, I believe, 13 women that will compete, and we will have our own show. Thank you.
Yeah.
Look forward to that.
And then I get to sit in your chair.
Maybe. I hope so.
Well, Bohnert finishes it with a impressive 2:54 in our first match of the day here at Glenmore Bowl in Cheviot, Ohio, and Alan Runkel just trying to round things out and get out of here, as he certainly has not done as well as he would have liked to, but nevertheless, Dave mentioned a fine competitor, and he has one heck of a shot at being on our final telecast, or our final King telecast, I should say, because, as Jen mentioned, we do have the ladies coming up, and I look for Jen to be on there.
I think that's a pretty safe bet. There's a lot of good contestants out
Well, there
there.
is. I'm not counting.
But
it.
they're taking 4, though, so I gotta like the odds.
Well, Alan Runkel falls short to Ron Bohnert. We've got that next match.
Coming up in just a few minutes after we see who wins the golden ball, maybe.
All right, time now once again for our 14K Golden Ball.